Alright, I'm sitting here with the former South African champion, Tian Fick, and I haven't seen you in a while. How's things been?
It's been it's a funny question. I think I can sum these 2 years up as a little bit of a disappointment, I'd reckon. I usually try to conduct myself with class, and I keep to myself, and if there's negativity, I keep it to myself. But it's tough. Since I became the champion, my goal was to get a fight that makes sense, a fight that could be financially beneficial to me. And every event since I've been the champ, I mean, not to mention all the stories before I became champion, but these 2 years has been promises gave where like promoters tells me one thing, and we have a signed contract agreed. I'm in real estate as well. Usually when you sign a contract to a house, ownership gets changed and millions of rands gets exchanged. And in South Africa, when you sign a boxing contract, apparently nothing happens. There's no follow up on people when they let you down at all. So I can go through it on my hand. First, when I became champion, I had a fight scheduled in Ukraine against a guy called Rudenko. I can't pronounce his name. He pulled out 2 weeks before the fight after all the work that I did, and then he rescheduled for 2 months later and then pulled out again. And then there was both times we had signed agreements. So after that, there was another guy, was in the top 10 in the world, from Austria. That fight didn't materialize short notice. Then another local promoter, we tried to set a title fight up, and 3 times they rescheduled me last minute. And then my opponent pulled out, and then I had to fight 4-day notice, a title fight, an opponent that I wasn't prepared for, and completely overtrained. I don't think I've ever fought to my full potential as a fighter in South Africa, because what you get told and what gets done at the end of the day is 2 completely different things. At the end of the day, I would think Jackie Bryce is the only guy that actually did something on the date that he said he's going to do it. Although there was hiccups there as well, he would be the only guy that said something and did it at the end, which is just pretty sad with all the promoters making so much promises. This year, I had a beautiful, amazing fight lined up that I've been waiting for over a year. Sonny Bill Williams. It was signed, done, deal in the bag, 20th of August, Grand West Casino. And he agreed, I agreed, everything was a go. And then 4 weeks out, literally 4 to 6 weeks out from the event, the promoters just, in their infinite wisdom, see to move it to February, or like 6 months out, as if they do not understand the kind of work that a professional athlete go through on a daily basis to prepare for a specific fight, to peak on that time. I mean, the hundreds of thousands of dollars, rands that I spent in order for preparation for my team, the hundreds of hours of training that I put in, just to be told, no, it's not happening. After a contract's been signed, it's soul destroying, to say the least. And I think this country at this point in time is also not really geared for they're not geared for a professional, healthy career in fighting. There's no help, there's no support. Imagine me having to tell my sponsorships 5 times in a row that the fight's rescheduled. It's like you seem to look like the guy that's the liar at the end of the day, because your promoters just let you down continuously. So after all of this 2 years of trying to make something work, and once again having to deal with the disappointment, staying away from my wife all this time, not having one fight where I actually fight to my full potential, because when I'm ready, they are not. After the contract's been signed, it's like I said, it's a lot of disappointment that I kind of have to deal with. Hopefully, I can find something in the next 2 months, maybe in Russia, maybe in UK, depending on what's available, and then I'm planning to go to my wife in Dubai. I've stayed away from her for almost 3 years now, trying to make something work. And at this point in time, I can say I've got nothing to show for it. Of all the hard work and the dedication with me and my coach, me and my team, me and my sponsorships. So it's just left a very bad taste in my mouth, unfortunately. So, yeah.
If you're looking at your career, I mean, you did reach your target, your goal, so that was the most important thing checked on the list. And now, I mean, literally, I know it's a huge disappointment. Was Sonny Bill in the same Have you spoken to him about it?
Well, I haven't spoken to him. The channel wasn't open where I actually talked directly to him, but my management team was in communication with him. Everything was right. He's also called a few boxing legends here in South Africa and asked him about me. So everything was moving forward as per se, but I don't think the local promoters, most of them don't understand what a fighter goes through. When they set a time, they need to keep with that time. And I don't necessarily blame the fighters, although fighters, a lot of them has pulled out on me as well, last minute. It needs to be there needs to be that structural support for someone. And if I am not 100% motivated in training for a specific date, I don't give my 100%. So I need to be all in my mind and my body, physically and mentally. And unfortunately, it didn't really pan out as I should. But we just have to deal with it, eh?
Well, the fact that you've had your training camp now, we're in a similar position to where you were like last year as well, where overtraining, just putting in a lot of work. And I mean, if you do get a fight in the next 2 to 3 months, will that be a good version of you?
Well, I've prepped for 5 months for the date of August, and after I heard the news that it's not happening anymore, you can only stay ready for about 2 weeks. Your system, when you train and you have to that capacity to be 10 to 12 rounds fit, your peak can only be reached for about 2 weeks. Then you need to take a break. So 2 to 3 weeks have gone by already, and I mean, with the motivation of me trying to work on my own, with not having the team now and telling them, listen, it's not happening anymore, it's pretty tough to stay in that mindset, to stay in that work rate, to get ready for a fight. So whatever comes my way, overseas wise, I'll take it. I wouldn't think I'll be on my top like I wanted to be. I think the time that I was actually ready to fight the best version of myself was last year, when I could have gone to Ukraine and I got dropped multiple times in a row. So that would have been my peak performance. But you know what? Life ain't fair. Eh? You just gotta have to roll with the punches.
You mentioned international fights. I mean, I'm assuming that's just excluding all the local fighters here, i.e., Jean Roos, Chris Thompson's, Josh Pretorius's. You feel like you need to get a nice big international money fights. Yeah,
I'm not really interested in any South African fighting anymore. I've gone through the hoops and the jumps and I've seen the actual reward that it gives you at the end of the day. I mean, I can the first 2 fights. My first two title fights that I had, I was paid 25,000 Rand for the fight. I mean, I pay that on a monthly basis simply on my preparation. How can you kind of support yourself on a fight? I mean, you heard an article written about I think the featherweight South African champion. He's a taxi driver. He needs to create a living somewhere else, because that structure is not there in this country to support a professional athlete, especially in this sport. So I'm not interested in that. If I am interested in anything at all, it would be an overseas fight. And what is available, and what I have been offered multiple times this year, was fights in Russia against the number 1 or the number 2 ranked Russian. And I turned it down because of the opportunity that I had against Sonny Bill. And now I'm kind of sitting with nothing at the end of the day. So it's just a huge disappointment, man. I did come and had a goal and I achieved it. I thought I could capitalize on it a little bit, but it didn't seem to be the right time. And the people that I worked with at the end of the day didn't keep to their word, to be really honest. So,
it feels a little bit like Reno Liebenberg's situation, because he announced his retirement and then he got a couple of big offers from overseas and came out of retirement. I don't know if you officially were in retirement after your last fight, but it felt like it. And then you got an opportunity here. Were you retired?
No. After the title fight, I've been working on Sonny Bill Williams, the fight, since last year, June. August was the 5th reschedule already, simply on the Sonny Bill fight. So, I mean, I had to train last year for November, then it was December, then it was February, then it was March, and then it was July, and then it was August. And I told them I can't go past August. I need to do something now. And I can't tell my sponsorships continually that we can shift it out. I look like an idiot at the end of the day, although I'm the only one that keeps to my goals. I will keep my promise at the end of the day, but it takes a couple of people to make this thing happen, not just one guy. So unfortunately, I don't think I want to retire, but I reckon there's some other opportunities that I need to kind of give attention to now. It's been a couple of years, and my wife is overseas, and I am here alone, and I've been here for a reason. But I think it's time for me to go to her. If I can make something happen that side, I would.
I mean, Dubai's popping at the moment with boxing.
Yeah, it is. It's just if I meet up with the right people there, and if I have the right structure, which is very important for a fighter to get fit, you need to have that structural support. I need to train twice a day. If you had to mix that with actually gaining an income, you need to kind of balance it. So if you know the right people, potentially I'm up for suggestions. But at this point in time, how I see it now, I kind of have enough. At some point, you need to draw the line.
So if something doesn't emerge in the next 2 to 3 months, I mean,
no, I'm going to Dubai. I'm heading over. I'm meeting my wife. I think it's time. I did what I can. I've given my best. There's nothing really else to say in this regard.
So in an ideal world, it's an international fight, then call it a day.
Yes, yeah. If I can have a good fight where I have someone world ranked that I can fight, that can give me that can push me, that can hit me, we can have a good roll. That's what I'm looking for. But also the financial benefits at the end of the day is also what I'm looking for. Because the work that I've put in, there needs to be some positive consequence at the end of the day. Yeah. You can't come to training and give you 100% where you know there's actually nothing you're doing it for. So, yeah.
All right, and should there be a good win? Would there be entertaining for more and more, or is it just that one?
If there's one more fight, I'm sure that'll be entertaining if the promoters can actually stick to their word and get it done on the time that they say they will. And I can peak and I can actually perform on my best. I think that will be one hell of a fight. But if I look at all the talent, and I'm talking excluding myself, all the amazing talent that this country has to offer with fighters with so much potential, if the right promoters can just harness their ability and showcase their skill, this country can get picked up out of the dirt so quickly. But each is out there for their own and for themselves. So it's like it's a shame. All I can say, it's a shame.
Right, Tian. Well, I want to leave it there for this because obviously, it's a big disappointment, the Sonny Bill Williams fight not happening, and I think that's sort of the main. Yeah, I think we were all, when I heard about it, we had to keep it under wraps, but I mean, we're all very excited about that. Is there anything, lastly, you'd like to leave us with?
I think I've said it all now. There's a little bit of, like I said, I always like to, how can I say it? I always like to present myself and the sport through a sense of class and respect, not just to myself but to the opponent and the sport that I'm in. But it's tough to have that outlook when you've had so many disappointments in a row. So I would not advise anybody to start this sport and to go pro for the wrong reasons. And also knowing it's going to be a tough journey once you've reached that in order to gain and to pick yourself out of the muck. And if you want to make a success in this sport, I'd reckon you need to sign a contract with Rodney Berman at Temperance Palace, like Kevin Lorena, or you need to go overseas and capitalize on your opportunity.
That's it.
That's it, brother.
Thank you so much for seeing us today, Tian, and we'll see you again soon.
Well, I hope so.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.